All right. It is a fun time on the Endless Hustle today as I'm joined by Oscar winner, best-selling author, and the Minister of Culture of the University of Texas, which might be the most important designation he has, the one and only Matthew McConaughey. Great to have you on the show, brother.
Good to be here, Arthur. How we doing?
Dude, not as good as you. You've sold over 2 million books, which absolutely blows my mind. So, first of all, congrats on Greenlights.
Thank you.
Of all the awards, man, to sell 2 million books in a time when nobody's buying books, only
Right.
Matthew McConaughey is doing that.
Well, look, man, I didn't know, my first time, this is my first time into the book array field. I didn't know what was going to be deemed a success or not. People said, hey, you want to hopefully get on the New York Times bestseller list. And somebody else said, no, you want to be number one on the New York Times bestseller list. You'll probably be there maybe on the bestseller list for a few weeks. You'll be happy about that. And here I sit 33 weeks later, and damn if over 2 million copies haven't sold. And audio copies are still number one. People love hearing me tell the stories. So it feels great because this is the first piece of art I put out that's a direct extension of me, meaning I wrote it, I directed it, I edited it. It's as if I would have said in my acting career, okay, I now want to go direct myself in a movie. And it's my stories. So, hey, people are seeing their stories in mine and seeing themselves in me. So that's cool.
Can you imagine looking back at young Matthew McConaughey today to realize that you've essentially become a mainstream cultural icon? Can you go back in time and tell that kid what's happened? Would he even believe it at this point?
Yeah, what would I tell him? Get ready, buddy. Life's a rodeo. Get your 8 seconds, and it's going to take however many years you're in this life to get it, but ride. My young self never even dreamed of being in the entertainment business. Like I said, but I didn't even have the idea of being an artist or an actor or a writer in the vernacular of my dreams. I just thought I was the kid who thought I was going to be there in Uvalde, Texas, go to work, get a job, move up a company ladder, maybe go work under my dad, stay there. And hell, I don't know. I damn sure didn't think my life would have taken me where it has taken me. But my passport's full. And yeah, I've found more than a hobby in acting. I found a career. And then 30 whatever years later, I decided I'm going to take off and go write a book and head out there. And damn, if that didn't translate, I don't know. I think I'd probably say to my 8-year-old self might say to me, sounds great, man. I'm going to keep building this tree house.
So when's the moment for you? You obviously start hustling in the acting business.
Yeah.
Things are happening, but like for every actor, you never freaking know. When
No.
was the moment for you where that button turned on from off and you're like, crap, this may actually happen for me at
Right.
some level?
Well, I'd say there's probably 3. The first level is entrance. All right. I go get a job on Days Confused. I meet the right guy in the right bar. All right. In the right bar, get kicked out of that bar at 3 a.m. And that man was Don Phillips, who was a casting director for Days Confused. He says, hey, you ever done any acting? I said, no, not really. Because you might be right for this part. Come to this address, pick up this script. There's this character named Wooderson you might be right for. Well, I go down, pick up that script. Wooderson had 3 lines. 3 lines, Arthur. I go down and read. I get the part. 3 lines turned into 3 weeks' work. I kept getting invited back to set. The director kept inviting me back to set. The whole cast of Days Confused was like lobbing me lines and writing me into scenes. That was the entrance where I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I have a knack at this. I keep leaving at the end of the day, and I keep getting invited back tomorrow. People tell me I'm good at it. I'm like, you're paying me $320 a day. Is this legal? I love it. Now I'm kind of in, but I don't know if it's more than a hobby at that point. Could this be the one movie I do in the summer of '92 and never again? I go back to school, I graduate. I drive out west. Next big in was I worked, I got some jobs, I got my work. Next big in though was Time to Kill. Time to Kill was the major motion studio picture, all right, that was a big success. And I was the more unknown lead that the studio took a chance on. And it worked. It worked over the very first weekend. The first weekend opening of Time to Kill, from that Friday to that Monday, that was another big hinge point. That Monday, I became famous. That Monday, my anonymity check was cashed. It was like, okay, the world was a mirror, man. No more strangers. Things have changed. Everyone's looking at me. Why are they? Is my fly open? I got a booger on my nose. What is it? No, you're famous. It happened. And then the third one would be the unbranding phase that I did about 12 years ago, when I stopped doing romantic comedies and didn't work in Hollywood for 2 years on purpose. So I pulled myself out of it, and it was a time where I needed to unbrand myself because I had gotten so successful with the romantic comedy brand that's all people in studios could see me as. So when I stepped away from that and said, no, I'm not doing that, and I couldn't do that, Hollywood was not offering me what I wanted to do, the dramas that I've been doing the last 12 years. It took 2 years of nothing coming in. I thought I'd said goodbye to Hollywood. I thought Hollywood had said goodbye to me. And I didn't know if I was ever going to come back or be invited back. Well, after 2 years of not doing anything in Hollywood, wondering where the hell I was, that's when those dramas came my way. So, and that's been the work I've been doing for the last 12 years. So those would be the 3 points. The I got famous, and then now I'm going to really, the third part being now I'm going to really customize my career to be what I want it to be.
I have so much I want to unpack because fame, and I get to talk to people like you every single day. It's the joy of my life. But fame is such a tough thing, man. People don't realize it. What you guys have to deal with, like you said, you can't walk in a supermarket. You can't walk on the streets. You can't do anything. When that first wave of fame hits you, how do you process that? How are you able to handle that as a kid?
Well, let me go to the end and I'll go back. So one part about fame is this, about all those things you can't do this. One part of dealing with fame is going, yes, I can. One part is getting relative with, yes, a lot of these things can be a pain in the backside. Yes, people want in your business and you don't meet strangers and people come up and feel like they know you and they have a right to an entitlement to either, trespass on you or what you're about. All right. And that can be discomforting. But let's remember, as my brother said the first time when we were running from paparazzi in a car, we had security guards and running red lights. And we get home, we're like broke a sweat, we're like, we made it. We made it. My brother goes, I don't know if all that was really necessary. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I mean, the guys chasing us had cameras, not guns. And I went, you're right. But so part of it's getting relative and going, I can do those things, but it just comes with a bit of a hickey. It comes with a bit of an inconvenience. Now, when I first got famous, look, the world was upside down and backwards, man. I mean, the challenge is before fame, the Friday before Time to Kill came out, there's 100 scripts I'll do anything to do. Yes, give me any of those. 99 no you can't, and 1 yes you can. Well, by 3 days later, that following Monday, it had inverted. Out of those 100 scripts that I wanted to do and couldn't do 99 of them last Friday, now 99 were yes you can, please do. And I'm going, well, 3 days ago, I would have done any of these. And now you're telling me I can do all of them? And I'm like, oh shit, now you're asking me what do I want to do? When just 3 days ago, I would have done anything to do any of them. It was hard to find discernment, man. It was hard to find clarity because I was so impressed with the new affluence. The roof was off. Now the world was my oyster. Hollywood was saying, you can do whatever you want to do. And I'm just going, whew. When the roof came off, it was hard to feel my feet on the ground. So what did I do? I got the hell out of Dodge, man. I put on a backpack and went to a monastery for 2 weeks. I put on a backpack and went off to hike Peru through the jungle and through the Amazon for 22 days. I needed to go hear myself think. I needed to get my mind aligned with my heart and my spirit and say, hey, are you three communicating? Because it's hard to feel you communicating when you first get famous. Again, the world's a mirror. You don't meet strangers anymore. And it's shocking right off the bat because there's nothing you can do about it. Like I said, the check has been cashed.
There's no going back at that point, is there?
No, that's it. Welcome.
I want to also talk to you about the Dazed and Confused meeting because when you met Don Phillips, you end up playing a drunken round of golf, which I think is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I love golf. So, and you're a big golfer. Most people don't realize that. I remember watching your interview with David Faraday and I was like, damn, Matthew McConaughey can actually hit the ball pretty well. Oh, yeah. So I want to talk to you about golf and some dream golf experiences. You must have gotten to do some cool stuff, but is there a dream golf experience that you haven't gotten to do? And if you could do it, what is it?
Well, it'd still be the Masters. The challenge with me and the Masters now, or me and golf now, is that I don't make the time to play it like I used to. I used to be in high school. I got down to a 4 handicap. That's some pretty salty golf, as any golfer knows, man. That means I was breaking well below 80 on consistently. I mean, I'm a 27 handicap now. you saw my swing unfair. You go, bullshit, there's no way you're 27. Well, yeah, my swing is probably more looks like I'm a 10 handicap now. But I can get a little 5-hole run of 1 over golf, and then all of a sudden the wheels come off, and I don't know which way I don't know where the club head is at impact. And I'm spraying them right and snap hooking them left, and we all know that's a long round. One of the coolest things I got to do is I got to go down and stay in Florida. I stayed with Payne Stewart for about 5 days, and the late Payne Stewart, and we went out and played golf every day, just he and I. And Stuart Appleby came and would play with us. We'd play a threesome, or just Payne and I would play a twosome. Hanging with him, talking to him about the Ryder Cup wins, talking to him about his U.S. Opens and stuff was awesome. He was my favorite golfer. And Payne Stewart, nobody hit the ball more purely. Payne Stewart had less sort of miss hits. He was a golfer who hit it so purely in the nut of the face of the iron in the club. It always sounded perfect coming off the club. But the Masters would be where the course I'd love to go play. The thing is, I don't want to go play the Masters as a 26 handicap. I don't want to go just tear up that course, man. I want to go there with some skill and make some shots because it's just too beautiful.
I love that viral video that I saw last week of you cheering on the Austin FC crowd and having them do the all right chant. And I love that you're a soccer owner, and the MLS has exploded. So now we're seeing, they just announced a reality show. Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds bought a soccer team in like the 5th division in Europe. As a soccer owner yourself, what's the advice you would give them? How hard or easy is it to actually own a soccer team?
Well, where's their team? Are they over in what?
They're in Europe.
They're in Europe. All right. So you already have a rabid fan base at whatever level. Those clubs are homegrown. They're whatever village they're in, they're going to be rabid fan base, and they're going to have real adversaries, and another village down the road is going to have real contempt. So they're going to have inherent drama. Great. Soccer, the game of football in America, is still young, but it's on the come. And we started a team here in Austin, Austin's a city who's on the come. And my goal as Minister of Culture is also, this team needs to look like the best of the city of Austin. The fan experience, the game day experience needs to feel, smell, taste like the best of Austin every time we have a match at Q2 Stadium. It's I don't know how much Ryan's into it, but if he bought the team, he's probably in it for the long haul. I'm not in this to sort of get in, make it work, and turn it over. My line is, hey, I tell the team, I tell the rest of the owners, this is a 100-year war. Let's build a legend here. Let's build a legend in Austin FC as a soccer team that represents the city of Austin, and we're taking Austin to the world. Yeah, the great game of soccer has come to Austin, but now we got a chance to take our brand of football to the world. So Ryan's probably stepping into something that's been around for down hundreds, thousands of years. All right, so it's already built. Now he'll go in, and what will he be able to do though? I don't know. What will he be able to do to expand and make them better? It'll be interesting, but he's already stepping into probably an incredibly already rooted passion by the people.
And he's doing a reality show. Would you do a reality show if they came to you and said, "Hey, we want to document what you're doing with Austin FC"? Would you do it?
Well, we're actually later on today. I have a meeting. I'm meeting with networks and studios now about an actual documentary of the making of the legend that will be Austin FC.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So when you going now, fast forwarding to that 2-year hiatus, that story, I know you've talked about in a million interviews. You turned down millions of dollars because you said, I want to change my career path. Amazing stuff. But the first time you hear McConaissance, that term, which ended up becoming like this global thing, was that something that you were a fan of? Were you happy to hear that?
Well, Arthur, in the book, one of the little asterisks, if you read the fine print, I don't know what page it's on, but go back and check it out. You'll hear the story behind McConaissance and where that came from. I was, I think it was a Telluride. Anyway, a certain film festival. And I had Mud. I'd done Mud. I'd just done Paperboy. I'd done Killer Joe. Something else. A couple other films. Anyway, I'd done a few independent hits. All right. And I was doing this, sitting there with this, I've been hearing with these interviewers, man, you're on this roll, McConaughey. You're really, this is like, I don't know what it is. It's like you're on a roll of independents that are really making their mark, and your performances are really standing out. It's like there's something to it. I don't know what it is. It's like it needs a name. And I say in my head, McConaissance, to myself. So how am I going to plant this? Well, I get to the next interview and I go, I can't plant it myself. I can't go, hey, I think it should be called the McConaissance. People go, oh, you arrogant prick. You can't name that yourself. You know, you're a great marketeer, but you can't give yourself that title. So I go to the next interviewer. So interview with MTV. And he starts the same dialogue. Hey, this thing you're on, you know, it's like you're on, it's like a thing. I go, you know what? I was talking to a guy earlier interviewing, and he said the same thing, and he called it the McConaissance. And the guy goes, McConaissance, that's great. I go, right, sounds cool. And he goes, wow, do you like that? I go, man, it sounds cool. I'm fine with it. It's got a nice meter, comes off the tongue fine. McConaissance sounds good to me. Sounds easy. I like it. And he goes, wow, McConaissance, maybe it'll stick. So I planted it.
Isn't it amazing the marketing that goes into it? It's amazing. How many moments, when you look back on your career, how many little moments like that, can you even conceptualize that your career could have gone this way or that way and ended up going the right way?
Dude, I hear you, Arthur. I mean, how many little bitty moments? I tracked a lot of them through the book. I mean, going to Don Phillips that night in that bar, who was the casting director, not, feeling nervous, but knowing I couldn't act nervous, wanting to get a chance to maybe read for a role, but not letting him know I really wanted to read for a role. Just going up to him and starting to shoot the shit and having a few vodkas with him and telling stories and then being myself, having the poise to be myself. So later on, 5 hours later, when we're hammered and leaving, getting kicked out of the bar, he's like, you might be right for this part. You know what I mean? Going to Joel Schumacher for A Time to Kill and going into that meeting with the plan when I was not ever considered for the role of Jake Brigance, the lead in Time to Kill, telling him, I think I should play the lead, and him going, great idea, Matthew, but it's never going to happen. It planted a seed. A month later, he calls and he goes, I want to read you for that. There's a bunch of small moments where an opportunity happened. I was like, bam, I'm going to hit the gap and see what the hell happens. That paid off. And if I wouldn't have done them, if I wouldn't have gone down to Don Phillips that night in the bar in 92 in Austin, we wouldn't be sitting here talking most likely. If I wouldn't have said I should play Jake Brigance to Joel Schumacher and just, nervously to see what the hell would happen, I was like, what's the worst you can say? Hell no. Would we be sitting here? So it's you look back in life, our life is a science. We can connect every single dot of how we got here, and going forward is a complete mystery. But there are small moments. If I wouldn't have gone to that club, I don't even go to clubs. Why did I go to the club that night where I saw this figure move across the room and went, whoa, what is that? And she turned out to be my wife and mother of 3 children. You know what I mean? And it's a club I'd never even been to. What the hell was I even doing there?
Wolf of Wall Street, by the way, is one of my favorite movies. I was a financial advisor for almost a decade, and at 30, sold my practice, wanted to live out my dream, went into entertainment. That was 13 years ago. And when I saw Wolf of Wall Street, I thought this was my life for a decade, without the illegality part of it, with the partying, all the crazy shit that went on. I remember your character. That was my old boss. And I'm like, man, he fucking nailed it. You end up stealing that movie. I mean, Leo's amazing in it, but your 5, 10, whatever minutes on screen are just magical. Do you know when it's happening that character, that moment, that improvisation, that's going to become what it became, this iconic moment of a generation?
No, I do know. I've been acting. I've been practicing my craft of acting long enough to know that when I'm doing it, I'm on the. Oh, this is music. Oh, this is original music. Oh, this is happening. And I use the term music as in this performance. I'm bringing forward a life. When I'm doing my best acting, I think any actors can say this. We're bringing forward a life that we're going, oh, this is living and breathing. This is not really acting. This is an emanation of a life agency of a character that may be really original and fun. Let's talk about another moment though. We do that scene. The banging, That's a technique I do before scenes for my own relaxation. Okay, I was doing that before the scenes that in the character that I played in Wolf of Wall Street, the scene you're talking about. I never had that in the scene. They'd start action and I'd stop and started going into the scene. Well, we had the scene locked up. Scorsese was happy. I was happy. Leo was happy. We were moving on. It was Leonardo's idea that goes, hey, Marty, hang on a second. Matthew, what's that thing you're doing before the take? Mm-hmm. And I told him, he goes, what if you did that in the scene? Sure. The next take is what you see in the movie. So there's another little moment. What if Leo didn't go, hang on a second, Marty, one more take. Why don't you do that in the scene? Then that's never in the scene. So
I remember watching that and I'm like, this fucking guy's a genius. Like, I'm like, who thinks this shit up in that moment?
Well, that character he's a soothsaying rapper. You know what I mean? I mean, I have what I call launchpad lines. That you read one line that a character will have. Sometimes it's in screen direction, sometimes it's in dialogue. That you read the line, you go, wow, if this character really believes that, there's an encyclopedia on this character. And it opens me up to start riffing and writing. And one of the lines in Wolf of Wall Street that was in the dialogue of my character telling Leonardo's character what the secret of the business was, what the secret of brokering was. It said, the secret of this business is cocaine and hookers. Now I go, what if this guy really means that? The man who is like, no, this is the Bible. Are you listening? Do I need to say it again? This is not funny. Arthur, do you hear me? Cocaine and hookers. That's the secret. Now, the person who really believes that, I'm like, who is that guy? And I just started writing and went in there and did a rap, basically.
When you're in heartthrob Matthew McConaughey phase and you've got the six pack and you're in insane shape, as a guy who works out every day, I know what kind of effort that shit takes. What was your nutrition and fitness regimen like? I mean, how dedicated did you have to be? Because you're going to be dissected at every inch of your body.
Sure. And I was, doing my workouts on the beach and getting documented by the Discovery Channel, paparazzi. And so, I wasn't looking for them. I wasn't going out to perform for paparazzi, but at the same time, I wasn't going to run away from them. And I was going to keep doing what I was doing before people were taking pictures of me anyway. So the rom-coms have made me enough money to go rent a house in Malibu on a beach. So I went to the beach. And I'd go run. I go run every day. What I do is usually back then it was, and still today is, I got to do 200 push-ups in my run. So as you know, when you start running, you get tired enough. The first leg, you're like, I can't wait to do push-ups. I can't wait to stop and do the push-ups. Well, you do drop down and do 20. Then you do 30. After a couple stops of push-ups, like I can't wait to start running again. Damn, I'm tired up top. So it's back and forth, and it gets a blood flow going to the chest, down to the legs, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So I would run until I could do 200 push-ups, and just make sure I ran the entire time until I did 200. Sometimes I'd knock out 50 on the first pop. Sometimes I knocked out 60, 70 in the first pop. Other times I'd do 10 and just stop every time and do 10, 10, 10, 10, 20, or 20, 20, 20. You can mix it up as much as you want, but the time with which you'll run, if you say, I'm going to run until I've got 200 push-ups done, go see how much time it takes. You're getting damn good shape doing that.
What's the diet look like? The Rock right now is training for Black Adam, and he looks like an absolute monster. He's monitoring every ounce of sodium, every calorie. Like, did you have nutritionists, a whole team there?
No, hell no. No, I was making the best margaritas on the planet, man, at that time, and drinking them. No, I was just active, but I ate well. I mean, I love food. I wasn't eating pizzas and burgers all day long, but I was eating well. I wasn't really watching my diet, but I was getting enough exercise at that age in my life. My metabolism was flying, and I was still, I was having a good time after the sun went down as well. But I wasn't really watching my diet.
When the Lincoln commercial comes out, I remember the first time I saw that. I'm like, wait, and I think everybody's reaction, like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Is that Matthew McConaughey in a Lincoln commercial? So, and that was kind of taboo. Like, you're an A+ list movie star. Nobody's doing commercials. You're making, Avengers movies.
Right.
How did you make that decision? And when the thing goes viral and everybody had my reaction, are you like, this was a smart choice or did I make a mistake?
No, I felt that was sort of, without saying it, a bit of the secret hope or plan. I like Lincolns. I have a Lincoln. I had a Lincoln before I started doing commercials for Lincoln. They're an American brand. They're American invented the car as well. I like the company. Pay was good. So we go shoot the ad. I think the first one was with the bull. I'm sitting there going, that's a big bull, man. I mean, I knew let me tell you about the Lincoln ads. We bet on something early. I remember sitting down with the agency and the client. I said, look, I'm going to be very deliberate. I'm going to go at my pace and my pace is going to be smooth, strong, and deliberate, but never in a rush. That's part of what we agreed would be synonymize the luxury of the car, right? But we said, look, every ad out there right now is so loud. It's like everyone's competing to be who's the loudest to get your attention. And we said, what if we are so quiet that we become really loud, that we become one of the loudest because we're so quiet. We're the hot knife that goes through the butter. And we took a chance. And I remember it was like a doggone Buffalo Wings bar. I went in and it was football Sunday, man. All males, testosterone, everyone drinking beer, loud football, NFL's going on. And that was when one of our ads was, we were premiering in a primetime game. And I sat back and I was hidden over in the corner, I had my shades on, and I wanted to see the reaction. And everyone's loud and the ads are coming on and everyone's talking, and all of a sudden our ad came on and it got quiet and people actually turned to the damn TV because, wait, it just got quiet. And it was the noise. I said, I think it worked. I remember getting on the phone going, guys, I think it worked. The whole three-quarters of the room just turned and looked to the tube and then started watching and going, and we're kind of walking to the TV and all of a sudden going, is that fucking McConaughey? McConaughey? Wow, what was that? It was like came in from another planet. It was a new frequency. And that's been our deliberation throughout. If you look at over the years of all our ads, you can now hear the one key on the piano. And before you even see me or see the car and go, this is a Lincoln ad with McConaughey in it.
By the way, you started a trend. Now Brie Larson's doing car ads. Like, I remember the first time that happened, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And now literally everybody's hawking product. I think everybody's like, if McConaughey's doing it, I can do it too.
Well, check this out. You know what? Another thing that I happen to be fortunate enough to be on the front end of, and this is me and Woody, choosing to do True Detective. Yep. It was still a bit taboo for someone in our status to go down to the small screen. Now, mind you, that script was so hot, such hot shit. And I was like, wow, I don't care what screen it's on. I got to do this. I got to play this character. And Woody loved it too. But if you look back, that was at the beginning of a trend. Now you could argue that the best dramas are actually miniseries like that. And they were not back then. And actors like Woody and I were not necessarily flocking to the small screen. Very few of us were even going. And Woody and I were some of the first to do that and make that not only not taboo, but boy, what a great place to go get good drama.
I mean, look at Mayor of Easttown right now. I'm watching it as we speak. And Winslet, I mean, you're talking about arguably our greatest living actress.
Right.
She's got her version of the new True Detective, and it took down HBO Max on Sunday for the season finale. And I'm just like, you really did bring that in. It started with The Sopranos. Then we see Breaking Bad. But those, Cranston was never at your level until after Breaking Bad. Right. But to have you and Woody, that was to see A-listers doing limited series. That was a change of pace for sure.
Yep.
So when that happens, when True Detective hits, did you know filming it that it was going to become what it became?
No, man. I mean, like I said, I knew the script was hot shit. The script that Nick Pizzolatto put down and then Cary Fukunaga directed, and that character that I know for me that I had, which was, it was like, I remember I first got offered the Marty Hart role, which Woody played. And I read the script and I said, I love this part of Marty Hart, but there's one guy I can't wait to turn the page to see what's going to come out of his mouth next. He's this guy, Rustin Cole. And I went back and told him, I said, look, I'm in if I can do Rustin Cole. Well, they paused because they, like a lot of people, remember this is early on. I'm just coming out of the rom-coms. And I've done a couple independents, but people are like, wait, McConaughey for Rustin Cole? Even HBO and Nick were like, well, hang on a second. And they went and watched Killer Joe. I was told they watched Killer Joe and go, oh, okay, I see why he could be Rustin Cole. And I was told that was one of the reasons they said, yeah, come on. I didn't know. I thought we were making something really good. Like I said, I thought it was going to be hot shit, but I didn't know it was going to turn in to be the Monday morning water cooler talk through the country. People going, talking about this show on HBO. I watched it like you did. I obviously had the compilation of all the episodes to watch, and I said, no, I'm going to hang on. I'm going to watch it on Sunday night, once a week, like everybody. And my wife and I would get the kids to bed, make sure they're down, go in there, bottle of wine, food in bed, and watch it. And I mean, I was in the same water cooler talk on Monday morning. I was like, did you see that? Like, because I forgot. It'd been so long since we made it, I forgot where the episode changes were. So each episode I'm watching, I'm going like, holy shit, I don't know what's going to happen next. Because when we shot the thing over 6 months, it felt like one long movie. So I didn't know where the ending of each episode was going to be. And I loved it. It's still my favorite thing on TV. I missed True Detective season 1.
Dude, that was some of the best TV of the last couple decades. I remember watching that and thinking to myself, holy shit, usually I have this stuff figured out. I had no clue what was happening there. And I'm like, this is, and by the way, Fukunaga's gone on to become like a Bond director now and one of the best directors in the business.
Yep.
Dallas Buyers Club hits. You obviously win the Oscar. One of my partners, who's also a producer on this series, we were talking about your Oscar speech. And that was just such an amazing and moving moment. You obviously were the front runner. Everyone knew you were going to win. You were winning all the prelims going in. When you get up there and you deliver that speech, and it really ends up becoming this iconic moment, did you know you were going to hopefully inspire a whole generation of actors and entrepreneurs by the words that you were saying? Was that the hope of what you were saying?
No. You know what? You got a theme going here, and you're asking me about certain moments. Did I project? Like, did I hope that they would be? Did I realize they would be when I was doing them? No. Once again, I got up there and just spoke from my heart. Like I said, I didn't know. I knew this. People say, did you write that out? Did you write that speech out before? I'm like, hell no, I didn't write that speech out before. For me, I'm too superstitious. That'd have been a coup de grace. To write your speech out before you've even won, be like, boy, you're gonna lose, bro. So I remember I did write down, hey, who am I thankful? Thank you. I always start things with thanks. Think of thanks, and who am I thankful for? And that went from me to God, family. My blood family, Camilla, my kids, and then I was like, I think I said, something to look forward, something to look up to, something to look forward to, and someone to chase. That was sort of my 3. Just work off of that. And I went up there and I didn't know what I was going to say. I just, luckily, fortunately, felt the moment. Didn't care about how long I was up there. Wasn't thinking about, are they going to play me off if I go too long? And I was just like, I'm going to speak from my heart here and tell my truth. And it's. You started off talking about the damn book.
Yep.
I went and told my truth. I didn't sit here and think I want this to have have 2 million copies sold. And sometimes, usually with any art, I think the more honest and, all self-expression is not art, but all art is self-expression. So I've just, these times where, like the book and these other times where things succeeded to a great level, I was not thinking about the result. I was just thinking about the process. I was just going, hey man, let me be as authentic as I can be. And hey, if that catches fire and people see themselves in that, then great. But I'm not doing it for you or someone else. I'm doing it for me, keep my head down, and then all of a sudden come out of it and look up and people go, whoa. Well, I've found, man, that the more I've stuck to the process, the more results I'm getting. Because if I understand projecting and objectifying and going, what could this be? And we talked about a few plays I did earlier in my career and still continue to do, where I took opportunities with an idea in mind of a goal to get. But for the most part, the successes I've had were not because I was trying to say, oh, I want this to be a unanimous success, or, oh, I want this to be really scaled out. No, it's because I was like, I'm doing this for me. Even if I'm the only one that loves it, I'm doing it for me. And when I've done that, And I think it's true for most of us. We find that, oh, that's when more people go, I dig it. I dig it too. You spoke to me. I saw myself in you. I see my stories in you. I heard that. You inspired me, you know?
How about that Brad Pitt video in New Orleans? I've always wanted to know. That video goes viral with you guys throwing the beer and the football.
Yeah.
I'm like, this had to have been pre-designed, but I'm guessing it wasn't, knowing you two. So walk me through that moment. How does that all happen?
I'm down in New Orleans working with Drew Brees, Breeze Dream, and Just Keep Living. We have an event. I think Kenny Chesney played that weekend, and this was part. I was up on a porch. We were doing a part of an amazing race for a lot of people, and that come to the charity go on this race through New Orleans. I'm out on the porch and look up, and there's Brad walking out the porch over there. What's up, Pitt? He goes, well, McConaughey. And we don't even know each other that well. That may have been our first time to meet. And he goes, you want a beer? Yeah. Steps in, chunks one over, catch it. What's up? And somebody had the phone out and got it. That was it.
This is social media now, man. This is what's crazy is you look at the beginning of your career, and this comes back to the Greenlights theme. You're hustling to fucking make it. Now these kids have social media, and you can become an actor or actress because you have 18 million Instagram followers. How do you think you would approach, if you were one of those kids today, would you approach your career differently? Because here's the thing I've learned through this conversation. Everything you do is actually very thought out. You're very strategic. How do you think you would approach building your career today?
If you start today, you're going to get access to more eyes, obviously, through social media. So let's take advantage of that. At the same time, it can be a slippery slope, and you don't want to. If you're gonna just be about everything and say you're an expert on everything and just you curate what your content's gonna be before you put it out. I mean, make it authentically you. And again, if you get more followers because you're being authentically you, great. Don't be trying to act like somebody else or get in somebody else's zone that's not your own zone. You'd rather have, 10 million loyal followers that are like, I dig this guy's shit, rather than 60 million because, I don't get it. He's popular. It's not, you got to watch. You don't want to necessarily be, you got to watch when you're chasing you don't want to chase just a popularity contest. If what you do and who you are authentically becomes great and very popular, bravo. But don't be chasing the popularity contest. Again, back to be authentic to self and see if that draws the bees to the honey. But don't be, you be the honey. Don't be chasing the bees. You know what I mean? It's like if you build it right, you don't be chasing butterflies. The butterflies if you plant your garden right, if you put the right kind of garden, butterflies will come to you. So I say yes, use the platform, but watch you don't over leverage who you are, and you don't write a check you can't cash.
Here's the fucking thing that's blowing me away throughout this 40 plus minutes we've talked, man. You're one of the biggest stars on the planet. I live on red carpets. I've been doing this for 13 years. To hear how relaxed and authentic you are in a business where guys at your level really become way too self-serious, way too self-important and in their own heads. You have an authenticness, and you were just touching on it, that's mind-blowing. Were there ever moments for you where you lost that authenticness, where you can look back in the past and say, I wasn't who I am today and as real as I am today?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Many times, man. And look, I've tried to be someone other than I am. I've stepped in shit. I've opened my mouth and been a punk, been an asshole, been a dork. Tried to be what I thought people might want me to be in the moment, and then maybe got the laugh in the moment, but went home going, what are you doing, dude? You just, or talk shit on somebody in a moment at a party, you know what I mean? Get that big laugh right there. Ha ha, great, wow, yeah. And walk away and go, I just lost respect for myself. And you know what? Everyone that just laughed, they just lost respect for me too, because they all walked away from going, McConaughey, he's talking about them. He may talk, So there's things I've done many, many times. I just didn't stay in them that long. I noticed that very quickly that I was like, no. And then I don't care if I do even get what I want. I don't want it if I get it that way. I like to win, but I want to win well. I do hustle, both senses of the word. I've been all those things that I told you earlier where I have not been myself or been my best self. But I think that's it. That's just part of the process. I don't have it figured out. I'll be inauthentic somewhere. I'll be not my best self somewhere today. And I'll go, what are you doing, my guy? Come on, that ain't you. That ain't you. But you just keep on recalibrating, keep going, yep. And slowly, if you can at least go don't be your non-true self less times today than you were yesterday. And you just go through each day going, let me just be a little more authentic and see how it plays out. Let me just tell the truth on myself and deal with the freaking consequences. Be myself and deal with the consequences. Look, man, but it's hard to know who the hell we are. It's hard to have identity. It's a hell of a lot easier to figure out, we try things out. One of the things about Hollywood and fame we were talking about. Hollywood says, be whoever you want to be. And it will placate you anytime you want it. It'll serve you up another one and go, yeah, you can keep doing that. Well, just because you can be whoever you want to be doesn't mean you just act like whoever. You check in with yourself and go, wait, who am I? What mirror am I looking in? What's my relationship with the world, with myself, with my past, with my history, with where I'm going, with this person, Arthur, that I'm talking to in this conversation? I'm sitting right here talking with you, man. And I know my story. You know your story. We all know our own story better than anybody knows our story. And I think if we take more time to go, well, just tell that story. Tell your story. Live your story. It's scary. I don't always know who I am. I'm not always completely secure with who the hell I am. I got to work it out, but I got a meter that feels, whoa, that feels a little off. You feel off frequency there. That's not you, McConaughey. Or it is me, because I allow myself, we're all human. We're allowed to bogey. We're allowed to double bogey here and there, but we got to go, whoop, that's not going to become a habit. That was a one-off. All right, let's get back in line.
So one of the reasons that I started this series was because I wanted to talk to successful people like you about how they continue to elevate in their lives. How do you continue to elevate both on and off screen?
Well, look, man, I'm going to go back to that thing that you brought up the Oscar speech. Who's my hero? Me in 10 years. Who am I chasing? Who are we all chasing? Ourselves. We're never going to catch us. That's the point. We're never going to be our hero. If we become our hero and get to the top of that summit, what do we find out? Holy shit, there's a whole bunch more summits out there over on the other side that are taller than than this one. It's ongoing, it's infinite. So what are we doing here in the time we've got in this life? What the hell else are we doing? Who else should we try to get to know better than ourselves? The one person in our life that we cannot get rid of. Well, let's hang out and figure out. And since we're with ourselves, we might as well try and enjoy the company and say, hey, can I chase my transcendent self? Can I be a little bit more true? Maybe a little better, whatever you call that. And that is an ongoing process. And I've come to the conclusion that you never get the result. It's all false summits. That doesn't mean you don't climb them and you don't keep chasing it, because they do. It's like a staircase. They get higher. But we could, no matter at the end of, I think on our deathbed, we still go, oh, I never quite got there. And that's the point. And once we start going, it's not about, it's like happiness we usually call like a proper noun, place we can get to. Now I'm happy. No, it doesn't work that way. If we can have some joy in the process of trying to chase happiness and say, I'm never going to completely make it, that's the game.
That was awesome. Dude, you've been an absolute pleasure. Can I ask you for one monster favor before I let you go?
Yeah.
Can you give the show shout out with an all right?
Yeah. All right. You're watching and listening to Endless Hustle. And it is endless.
You were the man. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you this was awesome, man. I had no idea what to expect, and you delivered, brother. That was awesome.
Absolute. Good talking to you, Arthur.
And by the way, before I let everyone go, Greenlights, the best-selling book, the story of Matthew McConaughey, has sold over 2 million. Everybody pick it up. Dude, incredible job, and congrats on the success of the book and everything you've been able to accomplish. You're everything right about this business.
Right on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Till next.